yeah, 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 look, ball player, no watching from the side. Said that you got him next, well go ahead and show him why. No limits in the sky, go ahead and take your shot. This one is for the city, let's show him how we rock. Coaches used to call my phone, what you doing, just got home.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Up Next, the podcast where we tell you who's up next in youth sports and AAU basketball. And this episode, we're dealing with girls basketball, girls AAU basketball. Of course, I got my guy Khalid in the house. What's up, baby?
What's up, man? How are you?
Chilling. Everything's good. We have a few special guests here today. We got a full house. Like I said, we're talking girls basketball today, and we have Coach Dominique Nute. She's the New Heights Co-Girls Program Director. She oversees 9 New Heights girls teams. She's also the founder and school leader at the Stratford Preparatory Charter School, which is opening in the Bronx. Is it open already?
No, it's opening next fall.
Opens next fall in the Bronx. So congratulations.
Congrats on that.
She's known as Coach Dom to her players, and she has coached some of the top talent in the tri-state area in both high school and middle school over the past 12 years. Dominique Nute, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Good. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on here. I appreciate it.
Thanks
No
for
problem.
being here.
And we see you have 3 of your players here with you today. So let me know who you brought with you.
Oh, definitely. First up, we got Lia Del Rosario. She's playing on our 17U UA team this upcoming year. She goes to Trenton Catholic Academy High School out in New Jersey, and she's originally from the Dominican Republic. We also have Mary Ashley Groot. She's out at the Hotchkiss School out in Connecticut. She's also a 2023. She's going to play on our 17U UA team this upcoming spring, summer season. And then last but surely not least, we have Angelica Velez, who is from the Bronx, 2023, also attends Trenton Catholic High School out in New Jersey.
Good stuff.
BX, stand up.
All right. So let's just start off with you, Coach. Tell us, how I see you've been coaching for 12 years, but, what got you started, coaching, AAU or coaching girls basketball in general? Like, what made you want to do this?
Well, I'm originally from Chicago. Grew up playing basketball in Chicago. Anybody that's from Chicago know, sports during the winter time is definitely what saves you and keeps you focused and keep you on track. I come from a really, really large family, and my brother and myself, we got into sports at an early age, and it's kind of carried me through life. You know what I mean? And as I've gotten older and I've transitioned out to New York City about 12 years ago, I got involved with setting up some after-school programs and basketball programs for the schools that I was a part of, and it kind of naturally progressed into me jumping into AAU basketball. I actually started at New Heights first before I, went out and ventured and tried some other things. And then this past year, I came back to New Heights as one of the directors this year of the girls program. And, I've been fortunate enough to coach some really, really amazing girls. The 3 of these young ladies that's on with me right now joined me this year for the first year of me coaching under New Heights and leading the girls program. And, it was a good way to start it out, having 3 of these young ladies be a part of what we're trying to do and what, New Heights represents in New York City has only been like an amazing experience. So, giving back and making sure that girls get the same opportunity as I got when I was growing up is really, really important to me. And bringing girls together from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different races, I think is important. Sports does a lot to help us as adults grow up and learn how to get along with people. So some of the same experiences that I had growing up, in high school, in college, in, elementary school, I try to provide to some of the girls, well, all of the girls that's a part of the New Heights organization. So I've been very fortunate enough to coach some really, really amazing kids. That's the plus side of this. And, the goal is to keep going and keep building what we're doing in New York City.
Nice. First of all, let me give a shout out to Chicago. All right. I was born in Carbondale, Illinois. I want everybody to know that. My mother's from Chicago. My whole side of the family is from Chicago. So I have a lot of love for Chicago. That's my second city. Shout out to Kenwood High School and Harlan High School. All right. South Side. Let me ask you something, Coach. How explain the dynamic of going from playing for New Heights to now coaching New Heights?
Well, I think just coaching in New Heights as a whole, it's just been a blessing. New Heights has a lot of resources and a lot of, things that other AU or travel programs don't have in our area, especially with the kids that we serve. I think just being able to make sure that we have a program that can not only serve kids that may not have what it takes to travel and play travel basketball, because we all know that it's a very expensive gig, if you coach to play on the circuit. But it's important that even kids that could afford it have an opportunity to play with other elite level talent. And for us, the goal has always been to put, premier players and premier teams together so that we can represent our area as a whole. And I think this year has been, a good representation of that for New Heights. Recently we brought on Walter Welsh, who was the director over at IXL, who also at one point was the director over at Gauchos. He's added so much, knowledge and just richness to what we're trying to do as an organization. And we're only trying to build from there. Even adding, players that didn't necessarily play for New Heights, but play for other programs. Now they're going to come and coach underneath the umbrella. We have Kareem Gay, who played at Duke, who's a McDonald All-American and played at Christ the King. We have, Aaliyah Lewis, who, graduated and played at St. John's, who's going to come over and coach. Nice. We have Tobias Harris' sister that's coming over, and she's going to rock with us and coach one of our 15U teams. So bringing our area together in terms of females that have played the game and understand the game, but also using those resources to mentor our young ladies. Nice. And I think that's the goal of what we're trying to do ultimately.
Nice. Let me ask some of the girls a question. Each of you went, what brought you to this game? What age did you start playing? And where do you see yourself going? Anyone can start.
I'll start. Well, I started playing basketball when I was 11. I started out playing in the Bronx. I met Coach Dom, and it's she got me into playing basketball more, got it more seriously for me, and she just helped me develop into the player I am today. And now that I've grown into loving the game, so now I see myself going really far. I want to go to the WNBA and play Division I basketball. Yeah.
Well, let me go back, Jamal, because this young lady, I've seen her highlights. And there's a reason why they call her ankle taker. Right? Yeah, ankle taker. All right. I don't know where she got the name from, but she earned it because some of her highlights, she took some people's ankles and they're still looking for them. So congratulations to her. I do believe she will go to the WNBA if that's her vision. And let's hear from some of the other young ladies as well. I think we have Rosario up here next.
Yeah.
Straight from Dominican Republic, right, sis?
I started playing basketball when I was 6 years old. And nobody told me to start playing basketball. I should pick up the ball, start playing. When I started playing basketball, I was in the Dominican Republic. I started playing with the boys first when I was little because there was no girls club, nothing over there. So I came to the United States when I was 9. And then I went back home, stayed there for 5 years. And then over there, start growing my basketball skills and all that. So when I came back here, 4 years ago, I met Coach Dom. We played, I met her in a basketball game, and she teach me how to love the game of basketball. And I see myself going to the WNBA and going to a Division I basketball school.
Nice.
What grades are you guys in right now?
I'm a sophomore.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a sophomore.
All three sophomores?
Yeah, all three sophomores. For me, basketball has always been ingrained in my family. I mean, my mom played basketball in college. She played at Wofford College, and she was my first coach.
Right.
I started playing in 4th grade, I think, for my church league, and my mom was the coach.
So did you play CYO in your church?
I didn't. So at the
Okay.
time, we lived in Westchester, so
Okay.
very really just for my church league, and that really started my love for basketball. And with I have 4 older brothers, you know, and with having that constant family support for me playing basketball, it just made me want to play more and more. And I think through that, I met Coach Dom this year. And this is the first year I've played with Coach Dom, and I think we hit it off the bat. And so, you know, I loved playing this year, and I'm really looking forward to playing for the next few years. And as my teammates said, I want to play D1 as well, and my goal is to go to the Olympics.
Nice. Coach Dom, what's in the water, man? Because this is, you have the top 3 sophomores pretty much in the country on one team.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your formula? What's the seasoning you're putting in this soup?
I think it's not always about going out and getting the right talent, so to speak, on the girls' side, but it's about getting the right group of girls to play together.
Okay.
And, you know, I've watched a lot of them just grow up. Like, you know, I have had, you know, Angelica, Aalyah since they were a little bit younger, and Mary Ashley came into the fold and really fit really nicely into what we were doing. And I think, you know, just their love for it and the culture they've been able to build, you know, having a kid like Mary Ashley just come in and, you know, she step up and be a leader, and them take to her, and the 2 of them just being able to lead, and no one stepping on each other's toes, them genuinely liking and loving to play together. I think anytime you talk to college coaches about this team and about the group of kids we have together, the one word that, you know, everyone walks away with is like, they're exciting to watch. They're fun to watch.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what we go looking for. We go looking for kids that want to be a part of the organization, want to play for the program, and play what's on the front of the chest and not necessarily what's on the back, because I think that's so important now. Especially nowadays with AAU and how the AAU landscape is. But I've just been very fortunate enough over the last few years to just get groups of girls that just likes to play together. You know, in this group, you know, they're going to be well on their way and in the next few years, and we got some nice teams coming up right behind them. So, you know, they're setting the foundation for what the next groups have to look forward to.
Nice.
What do you think the state of girls AAU basketball is? I mean, we always hear about the men's side. Are there as many opportunities for girls? Are there as many teams? You know, what when you look at you know, girls AAU basketball, what do you have to say about it?
I think for me, you know, back in the day when the state borderline thing wasn't an issue, you had like all of these stacked teams. You can fly kids from all over the country and just play together. And I'm pretty sure that's how it was on the boys' side. So the teams were way stronger. Now that the borderlines exist, right, you have, you know, maybe 3 or 4 kids, sometimes 5 kids, 6 kids that can play on a team. And the teams aren't necessarily as stacked as what they used to be when I was growing up playing, right? But I think the biggest thing with girls basketball, and which I hope starts to change, is that on the boys' side, there's a lot of things that boys are able, and I get it because of money and the amount of money that's generated on the boys' side. Girls basketball costs a lot of money, and it's very expensive for the parents, it's very expensive for the kids, it's very expensive for programs, and it definitely drives a certain population of kids out of it. So I think, you know, again, we've been very fortunate enough when kids can't afford it, parents step up and help out, you know, programs step up and help out, right? But not every program has the same setup in terms of parents and resources that we have as an organization, right? So I think when you're talking about girls AAU basketball, there's a subset of group of kids that are not playing right now and not getting the skill development that they need because they can't afford it. And then there's another thing of like, there are a lot of teams. There's a lot of like pop-up teams, one team here, 2 teams here, instead of kind of coming together and kind of making it stronger, similar to what we did with IXL recently. We was like, great, it's 2 Under Armour teams. Let's just figure it out and come together and make one strong powerhouse of a team, you know, as well as like, you know, the players, but also the coaching staff. if that makes sense.
Yeah, talk about that dynamic, because I know from being on the men's side that it's, egos involved, and it's kind of hard to do what you guys did with IXL, of putting two programs together to create a like mind and a like vision. So why are you successful with that with, IXL and your current partnership?
I think with Walter, there's no egos. Walter's the kind of guy, he moves in silence. That's his big thing, right? He likes to, he's developed some of the top players in the country. And that was part of the reason why I wanted to, merge with him, because, we do have the Mary Ashes, we do have Aalyah, we do have Angelica, the Graces, and the other kids in our program that can benefit from his knowledge and his teaching of the game, right? He had Aalyah Boston last year, who was the #1 freshman, or the top freshman in the country in South Carolina. He has countless of WNBA players and other, collegiate level players that are playing right now. And I just think there was no egos involved. It wasn't like, let me offer you this or that. It was like, Dom, let's come together and let's do something for girls basketball.
Nice.
I think that was like the really big key takeaway for me. It's not like, I got to be in control, he got to be in control. We talk almost every day. Right. We talk about what's best for the girls. What's going to be best for our program? What's going to be best for our staff? How do we develop our coaches? How do we now develop the kids? So it's a constant relationship that we're building, and, we are getting to know each other a little bit more over the course of time, but it was no egos involved. It was like, great, I have some kids, you have some kids, these kids over here can benefit from what you've done. You have all of these McDonald All-Americans, all of these WNBA players, all of these Hall of Famers, whatever. Let's make sure we spread that knowledge over to kids like Aalyah, over to kids like Angelica, and Mary Ashley's of the world,
Yep.
To the girls, tell me what, how New Heights has made you better. What is it about, Coach Dom and New Heights in general that has caused you to improve your game?
I feel like New Heights, like, it hasn't helped me to improve my game because of the culture. Like, it's so much of a family, and I'm comfortable. They allow me to grow, and they push me to my limit, my highest point, like wherever they want me to go. And like, I feel like that's helped me so much over this past summer, even though, quarantine and Corona has messed, certain things up. I feel like we grew as an organization, even without tournaments, we practiced, we got each other better, we developed bonds, and that just helped me grow as a person and as a basketball player.
I agree with what Angelica said. We, like, with our family, New Heights is like a place where you can be, and nobody gonna judge you about how you play, how you look. We're gonna treat you like equal, and it helped me a lot this year because I'm with the same teammates that I've been for the past 4 years, and new teammates that I never saw before in my life, and that helped me more as a person and as a basketball player.
Yeah, I mean, to build off of what everyone has said, I think New Heights, what makes New Heights so special is that you have this culture of family. And it's incredible that 3 of us can be on here right now saying that we want to be Division I players, and we're going to do everything we can to reach our goals. And I think coming as a new person to this family, it's been so incredible for me to understand how dedicated everyone else on this team is, because it makes you want to work that much harder, and it makes you so much better. Being able to play with somebody like Aalyah, somebody like Angelica, somebody like Grace and Madison, and all these other players on our team that really are going to push you every second, because it doesn't matter if it's COVID, they're going to be texting you saying, what are you doing today? What are you doing today? So.
No, good stuff.
So Ted, Adam, do you hear this commercial? This is a big time New Heights commercial. All right, send the check in the mail. All right.
For real.
Coach Dom, who are your rivals? Like who is that team that either you can't get over the hump, or that team that you always in an entanglement with? Talk about that.
Listen, when you got what I got on this Zoom call right now, this year we coming real different this year.
Wow.
Like, at the end of the day, like, we approach every game. We give everybody the same amount of respect. We respect everybody. We fear nobody. You know, we step on the court, whether win, lose, or draw, we still gonna be family at the end of the day.
Right.
Like, you know, they've always played up as a group. You know, they're gonna play up again this year, and we want to smoke. We want to play. We want to play the best of the best. We don't dunk nobody. We don't hide from nobody. We just want to play. And if we win, we win. We lose, we lose. But it's very rare we lose. So,
right.
You know, at the
say
end
that again, Dom. Say that again, Coach.
We rarely lose. You know,
you
I think, you know, we play games this summer. We probably, you know, out of the 15 games we won this summer, we lost one. You know what I mean? So I think, and for us, it's not a loss. We definitely learn from it, you know, because anytime we do lose, I always feel like we lose the game and no one beat us. Right. So I think, you know, for us, like, it's no rivalries. We just want to play everybody. Right. You know, there's some top teams in the country. We have some top teams in our area. And, like, for us to get better, we want to play those teams. We don't want to, we play everybody. There's not one team that we're not going to play.
Nice.
What about, you know, girls basketball in the city? You know, how strong is it, you know, this year?
I think there's some really competitive teams. I think there's some really competitive girls. And I think, you know, so often it says our talent is down in our area, this area. If you look at, you know, across the country, like our kids, whether, you know, playing for New Heights, playing for, you know, another program, you know, we have some of the better kids in this area. You know what I mean? You do have the, you know, the Exodus of the world, you have the Sparks of the world. And, you know, those are two very talented organizations as well. You know, you have the New York Hoopers, you have, you know, teams that have quality kids on it. You know what I mean? And for me, you know, those teams and those organizations, what they're doing also makes our area stronger. You know, we don't just want to be the lone star and be the only show in town. We want it to be that there's other competitive programs across the tri-state area, so that as an area, when we do go out to these big tournaments, it's somebody representing, you know, our area, the tri-state area, New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, you know, there's the basketball talent is not down in our area. I think it's just all about us doing something similar to what we did with IXL, just coming together a little bit more. You come together a little bit more, things will be a little different. And I think sometimes shoe circuits kind of, you know, get in the way of that, stuff like that. But there was no shoe circus this year. There may not be any shoe circus next year. You still got to get out there and you got to play. And I think for us this year, we're not going into, you know, the 2021 travel season as like, great, we're going to play in the Under Armour circuit. If it happens, it happens. But we're going into putting together really, really strong teams. And that's our only goal.
So ankle taker, you have North Carolina, Louisville, I think Rhode Island, and a couple others. All right. Mm-hmm. Who you don't have to say, you don't have to commit right here. All right. But if you want to,
you got a couple years.
But if you want to, feel free.
She's not going to. She's not going to.
I know. But what are you looking for in a school situation?
I mean, the same thing that, you know, New Heights and Coach Dom has provided, like, you know, a culture, a place where it will allow me to grow as a player and get, you know, like the best way to get to my goal, which is going to the WNBA, and helping me grow as a person and as a basketball player, you know.
Okay. Mary, what are you looking for in a school situation?
Yeah, so, you know, I'm a kid who wants to do as well as I possibly can in basketball and as well as I possibly can in academics as well. And so I think that kind of describes what I want or what I'm hoping for in a school. I want a place where I can be pushed in both academics and athletics. And I want to go to a place with like-minded people. So I know that the teammates I'm stepping on the court with, they're ready to push as hard as they can in both aspects. And so, yeah, I definitely want high-level academics and high-level basketball.
Okay. And Aalyah?
I'm looking for a school that make me feel like home. Like, I know they're gonna push me hard every practice, even though sometimes I'm gonna feel like I don't want to work out practice, but they're gonna push me to do it. I'm looking for a school that's gonna help me grow as a person, as a basketball player too, and, you know, like, make me feel like I'm belong there.
Mm. And what high schools are you guys at now?
I'm in
What's that?
Yeah, me and Aalyah both go to Trenton Catholic Academy.
Okay.
Yeah, I go to the Hotchkiss School in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
So wow, so you and Aalyah go to Trenton Catholic.
Yeah.
So they're doing a lot of winning over there, obviously. Shout out to that coach. What's their coach's name?
Sharika.
Okay. Good job. Good job, coach. Good job.
For the girls, who do you look up to in the game? Like who, it could be college players that were before you at New Heights, WNBA players. What players do you look up to?
Like girls basketball players.
Could be girls, boys, whatever.
I mean, I love watching boys basketball, but like I'm just starting, getting into girls basketball. But for the boys side, I look up to like Javon Quinterly. He's from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Hudson Catholic, and I don't know, the way he plays the game. I study his game, the way he plays, and I try to take some of his moves, put them into my bag, and yeah.
So he went to Villanova and then
transferred, right?
Transferred, right?
Yeah, he transferred to Alabama, and he couldn't play last year. But this year, he's going to be able to play.
So you zoomed in on him this year.
Yeah.
All right. I think he's going to be looking to see what he could put in his bag from your game soon.
Right.
You want the questions for the other two young ladies?
Yeah, how about the other two of you?
Yeah, so I think the player I most look up to is probably Della Dawn. I think from her game, I take so much. My goal, especially for quarantine, since we've had so much time to work out, is being a more versatile player. And she is exactly the definition of a versatile player. I mean, she's a big lady who can score in the inside, middle, outside. She can score everywhere, and she plays defense, and she can block shots. And so, that's what I've really been working on, and taking, same as what Angelica said, you can take things from her game or his game and say, this is something that I really want to do. So I would say she's probably the person I look up to most.
Okay.
The player that I look up to is Candace Parker. I like the way she push her teammates up and do anything and leave her whole time on the floor to try to make the team better. And she don't care about how many points she scores, or she don't care how many assists she get, how many blocks, how many rebounds. She just played the game, and I like how she do that, and I look forward to be like her one of this day.
Let me stay on this. Aalyah, so who, how would you describe your game? Like if I ask you, what's your game? How do you describe it?
They call her baby food.
Baby food. Uh-oh.
Well, why is that?
Let's talk about it. Gerber. Shout out to Gerber. Give her a sponsorship right away.
It's baby food right there.
Baby food. Yeah, explain your game.
I think my game is I block a lot of shots during the game. Even though I'm not strong enough right now, I'm trying to my game is about being a good teammate. I push the ball, pass the ball, score, get rebounds. I do everything on the floor, trying to do everything on the floor as much as I can.
Now, how tall are you?
6'6".
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
5 of those inches? I'm still waiting on my growth spurt.
Word.
All right.
I need a couple of those inches.
6'6"? Wow. And shout out to Sheldon Williams. Mm-hmm. And y'all can look up who his wife is. Do anybody know who Sheldon Williams' wife is?
Used to be, though, right?
Used to be. Yeah, pardon me. Don't let me not get into any situation. Look it up, young ladies, and you'll know. He was I worked with him with the Nets. He was a pro scout with the Nets when I was a scout with the Nets. So we'll just leave it at that.
How about you?
Harry, talk about your game.
Well, I think I would say my game's similar to Aalyah. I mean, I'm somebody who I am very aggressive, I think. That's how I would describe my game. And I'm someone who's going to go for every rebound and take it to the basket. I'm definitely a physical player, and I would describe myself like that. But I'm also a player that I would describe as versatile. I mean, I can, and that's what I've been working on, being able to make the three. And if there's a girl who's smaller than me, I can just post her up and beat her up there. And if there's a girl bigger than me, I can take her to the basket. So I think I think that's how I would describe my game.
Nice. Coach Dom, I can't wait to see these girls play.
How about you, Angelica?
I feel like my game is like I get everybody involved. Like as a point guard, I make the right play. I know when to score, when to pass. Defense, I'm a good defender. I take pride in defense. That's something that that's important to me. Yeah, and my energy. I bring energy to the floor, and I lead. I'm a leader. That's something that's big.
Yeah, it seems like you're the swag of the team. For some reason, I'm getting that's exuding through this video right here. Is that right, Coach Dom?
She's all right. She's all right. Angelica is, anytime I describe Angelica, I describe her as like a true I'm from Chicago, right? Mm-hmm. When you think of New York City basketball on the girls and boys side, there's something about the guards that kind of lead the way in New York City. And, anytime I talk to like a college coach or anybody about Angelica, she's like a true New York City point guard. Mm-hmm. She has the aura, the swag about herself. She's been taught over the years to be more of a facilitator as opposed to, that scorer. And sometimes that's very challenging for kids. Because people look at the stats. I didn't score 20 points. I didn't score 30 points. And her thing, sometimes she walks off the floor and she has 2 points and she's probably the most impactful player on the floor. Mm-hmm. And I think, like she said, like she's been taught at a very younger age, communication, being a leader, just being able to carry herself in a way that like, she's from New York City. I'm going to exude that and show that when I'm on the court. And that's something that, I try to help her understand. You be proud of that. You're from New York City, right, which is Mecca of basketball. And that's important for me, for her as she transitions on to college.
To add to that,
Go ahead.
To add to that, I think coming to this team, I didn't really realize what team basketball was till I met Angelica and Aalyah, because if you are open, they will pass it to you, so you better be ready. And I think that's been awesome for me, learning from Coach Dom and from both of them, because they're both so unselfish. So it's been awesome to play with them.
That's beautiful. That's a real team.
And Coach, how about the other two? How about Mary?
Man, if you playing down low against Mary Ashley and Aalyah is gonna be a problem. Like
that's it.
It's like double trouble down there. Like, right. And I think Mary Ashley hit it spot on. Like, her game is very, very similar to Aalyah's game. Mary Ashley is like super, super fundamental. She can play, a little bit of everywhere on the floor. We try to, make sure she's able to get on the perimeter and kill you out there. And then, she can bang with you down low. She can rebound the heck out of the basketball. And Aalyah, like, she's just like baby food. Like, it's anytime, like, she can play in Dykeman. She can play, in a very structured situation. And, she just does what needs to get done for her team. She's probably the most unselfish kid on the team. And all, like Mary Ashley say, they all are very giving, but Aalyah will sometimes, I remember her being in 7th and 8th grade, she'll come to me like, go up, you're right underneath the basket. But Coach Dom, I want to give my other teammates a chance to score. Like, no, you're 6'6". So it's those moments that you appreciate after the fact. But in the game, when you want to win, you're right underneath the basket, just score the layup.
Right.
But I think, Aalyah does everything a true post player does. She's not trying to come out and be the one. She's not trying to come out and be the two. She's trying to bang out down low, get rebounds, block shots, and just put it on the backboard down low. You know what I mean? And I think it's very hard in girls basketball to find a true post player, that's 6'6", that knows how to play with their back to the basket. So I think that's what kind of separates Aalyah from other kids across the country, right? There's other post players. There's other people that are 6'7", 6'9", whatever, in girls basketball, but she's like your traditional post player. And I think a lot of what's going on in basketball right now is teaching positionless basketball. I get that, and that's something that we encourage on our team, but she's not somebody we do that with. Right. Your role is to be the center and the 5 on this team. Yeah, we'll help develop other parts, your mid-range game and all of that other stuff, but we want you to really master how to play with your back to the basket.
Now, how tall are you, Mary Lewis?
Mary Ashley.
Mary Ashley, I'm sorry. How tall are you?
6'2".
Wow, okay. It's another one.
It's a big front line.
I'm like this.
That's a big front line right there.
Coach, real quick, there's a big time camp coming up that some of these young ladies will be in, correct?
Yeah, this year they opened up, the Wooden Camp was originally for like the juniors and the sophomores because COVID happened, and a lot of seniors, a lot of juniors and seniors weren't going to have a chance to play in front of like the McDonald All-American Committee and all of those other evaluators. So they wanted to have a situation where they brought some of the top kids, and not all of them, but some of the top kids across the country together and get them in front of some evaluators to see what they look like, right? Some kids played this summer, some kids did not, and as everybody know, the McDonald All-American game is like the big thing, that kids look forward to at the end of their senior year. So I think a group of people got together and said, hey, what's the most effective way to bring both the boys and the girls together to, get them to play and compete? And of course, like, anything with typical, grassroots basketball, there's a lot of opinions around the camp. But I think for me, anytime kids can just get out there and play against the best kids, it's worth it, right? Whether they're top 50 in the country, whether they're top 200 in the country, right? You can go into a camp and be a nobody and walk out somebody, right? And I think for me, I encourage the kids never to get caught up in the ranking stuff because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it does not matter. You can be ranked number 1 tomorrow, and then, today, and then tomorrow you'll be not on anybody's radar, right? It takes one bad game to kind of like ruin your whole career sometimes with the rankings. So, and that's tough for some younger kids, so I tell the kids, don't get caught up in it. Great, you celebrate for the moment, but then after the moment's over with, keep it moving because, the work doesn't stop until you've accomplished all of your goals. Right. So a few of them are going to get a chance to go down this year. The goal is next year to get, even more down there because we have a really, really, really strong team. And, you guys get the chance to meet 3 of them right now, but, there's a gang of them that's not even on here right now. And the team from top to bottom is an elite level, legit team.
Mm-hmm. So what's the name of that camp?
The Wooden 150 Camp.
Okay. And when is it?
I think it takes place October 24th through the 25th down in Texas.
Oh, so that's right around the corner.
Yeah. And again, there's a lot of kids from our area, juniors and sophomores juniors and seniors that are getting a chance to go. And I think there's a few sophomores from the tri-state area that's going. So, shout out to all of those girls that made it. Like us at New Heights, we support all the kids. It's not just about our kids, but we support all the kids. So, it's an honor for any of the kids to go down and play. And of course, a lot of other kids feel like they should have been invited. You know what I mean? And that doesn't say like the kids that didn't get invited aren't who they are. I just think, as time goes by, like even next year, we'll have more kids from our area that get a chance to go down and compete. And that's the goal, to get more kids, not just from New Heights, but from our area to go down and compete and play in that camp.
And you know what, that's, as a coach, that gives you a lot of pride that your kids were invited to those type of specialized camps or settings. I remember coaching, and when my kids got invited to, at that time, ABCD camp, I walked around and with a Superman sign on my chest because I that's how much pride I had. And then to see them play was even more satisfaction. So congratulations to that. Congratulations to the girls for getting invited.
Yeah, a couple of girls have mentioned, obviously, the pandemic, and that had to have a huge impact on what you guys did this past summer. What were some of the obstacles that you had to overcome as far as the pandemic, and do you think you did a good job? Like, do you think, not just you, just the girls basketball in general, do you think that that everyone was able to get what they could out of this summer?
I want to put that on the girls. I want to see what the girls say. I want Mary Ashley and Angelica and Aalyah to kind of talk about like some of the stuff that we did and what they thought they got out of it. Because I can say as a coach, like, yeah, we did a great job. Like, we put together the best practice. You know, we did a lot of cool stuff. But, you know, it's always interesting to hear from the kids, you know, the players, in terms of what they got out of it. So I do want to start with Mary Ashley and then go down the line. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was spring break probably when my school said they were going virtual, and that was confusing. I think for everybody, it was like, what is happening with school? What is happening with basketball? What is happening with, you know, a million other things that are happening in the world. And I think my mindset going into that was, this is a make or break time period. You know, we don't know how long this is going to be. And for me, you're never going to get that chance to practice as much as we did again. And so I used it as, I'm going full speed. I am, you know, I have an older brother that we played one-on-one like every day, which gets a little boring sometimes, but it was fun. And, you know, working on all of those different things. And I think with New Heights, we were doing virtual workouts throughout the whole summer, even though we had some kids who didn't have hoops, some kids who, you know, had to borrow basketball, stuff like that, but we figured it out. And I think they were great workouts. I was dying of sweat because I was in like 90-degree weather. And, but I think it was awesome. And, you know, going into the end of the summer, we did get to play, which was so much fun. And I think going into this spring, I think we'll, you know, just keep pushing forward.
Nice.
What about you, Aalyah?
When I found out that we're gonna have Corona happen here, I was like, oh my God, we're not gonna have summer season. We're gonna stay home doing nothing. But then I said to myself, this is time where you put the work in and start working things that you have to work on. So for me, that was good. I get to go back home there. I did some workouts with the team, like Mary Ashley said. I was doing everything over there. When I got back here, I found out that we were gonna have at least 5 or 4 games during the summer. So I got excited and all that. But it was really cool to play at least 4 games this summer because, you know, I'm used to play over the summer. For me, that's like my job pretty much, play during the summer. I don't have nothing else to do during the summer than play basketball. So.
And I think Aalyah had a very unique experience this summer. When Corona happened, she ended up getting, we sent her back home to DR just so she can be with her family. And she got stuck over there for a very long time, way longer than we could have, you know, imagined. You know, we were originally scheduled to send her over there for about 3 weeks just until her school opened back up, and her school never opened back up, right? So she ended up, you know, staying there for over 3 months, right? And then her coming back in July and trying to get back into the shape that she was in her freshman year, you know, was something that she really tried to work at over the summer, you know, because when she was in DR, she was very limited in terms of the resources that she had, as opposed to what the kids had over here in the United States, right? So, you know, Aalyah has, you know, spent the last few months just trying to get acclimated back into like the basketball side of things because she was over there for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Angelica, you got it.
I feel like in the beginning of quarantine, you know, it was different for me because like growing up, like AU basketball was always like my getaway from New York, from the Bronx. Like, you know, summer is where kids start to party, and it was my like get out of, you know, to stay out of trouble and stuff. And yeah, but it was different for me. But quarantine was a blessing in disguise. I feel like, you know, it was kind of rough at first, but it allowed me, you know, to to not take the things for granted. Like, you know what I mean? To appreciate what you have, you know, your family. I took the time to spend with my family and my teammates, and then it allowed me to grow as a person and as a basketball player. You know, I took the time to work in the gym with Coach Dom and my teammates, and we built more of a closer bond. And so did I with my family, you know? Yeah.
Definitely.
Where do you live? What part of the Bronx are you from?
I'm from like by East Tremont, like, or Fordham. It's not that far from me.
Yeah, I'm
so
familiar.
Everybody knows Fordham. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go. Look.
Yeah. So, Coach, what would you consider your coaching philosophy? You know, team wise and individual wise.
Team wise, I'll go there first. For me, I just want kids to be able to make the right play. And AU basketball is just so hard because you get them once or twice a week practices, and we do practice for a very long time. When we get them. We're sometimes in the gym 4 or 5 hours trying to at a time, just trying to get it right. I think there's not a lot of programs that invest the amount of practice time that we have with our girls. But for me, it's just all about making the right play, playing together, learning how to just figure out things on the fly. You know, we're not going to have like, you know, everyday practices where we're going through sets on top of sets on top of sets, but just learning how to really get out there and figure out things together, working together, making the right play, making sure that like we are out there doing it as a group and not as an individual. I do, and this goes for any of them, you know, they've all been yanked at one point in time for doing something that may not been in a team setting. You know, I'm all for kids going out. If they're hot, you know, 10, 15 points, great in a row, that's fine. But anytime you have a really, really strong team, there's no way kids are scoring 30 points back to back to back to back to back. You know what I mean? So for me, make the right play, do what's best for your team, you know, communicate when you're out there on the floor, make sure that you guys are always listening to your coaches, because no one at the collegiate level, especially on the girls' side, is going to take you and say, great, I'm going to let you come in and run my show. No, this is my show, and you can come and be a part of it. You know, I'm going to be the captain. You guys are going to help me steer this ship to a victory at the end of it, right? Or to the finish line. And I think for them, they're really bought into what we're doing as a coaching staff. And, you know, for us, like, you know, them playing hard, you know, we challenge our guards every time, you know, when they're on the floor, play defense. You know, so often in AAU basketball, you don't see defense. You know, I don't know about on the boys' side, but on the girls' side, it's just go out there and get busy. But what happens on the other end of the floor? Right. And some evaluators, some colleges, you know, they go out there and they look at, great, you can put a ball in a basket. What else can you do? What's going to separate you from somebody else? So I try to instill that in them as much as possible. I think in terms of individual play, you know, I'm all for it as long as it's in in what we're doing, in the system, in what we're doing. You know, sometimes we will run a 4 low, you know, and let, you know, Angelica or one of our other guards go and get busy if there's a mismatch, right? And that doesn't take away from our team setting, because we'll do the same thing for Aalyah. There's a mismatch on the block, or Mary Ashley, there's a mismatch at the high post. You know, let's exploit that, right? So there is an element of one-on-one play that exists within travel basketball, because you do want to, you know, showcase their talents. But for me, it's all about teaching them how to play the right way. And as long as you go out there and play the right way, defend the right way, communicate, and figure it out, you know, for me, it's a success.
Right.
What's the rest of your schedule looking like for the rest? I mean, coming up, and you know, in the next month or so.
So our high school kids are off. So all of them are away, either at boarding school or away at, in their host families at, you know, private schools. And our high school teams, we don't deal with them necessarily in the wintertime, even though it's COVID. We still want to respect that some high schools are going to play. Mm-hmm. So like New Jersey, I think they just got cleared to start playing in December. New York is still trying to figure it out. So we are going to do something for our New York kids in terms of, you know, host some open gyms and some open workouts to get them in the gym at least once or twice a week. And then for our middle school kids, they have their fall winter season. You know, they're going to play in some games. They're going to play in some tournaments and really get out there and showcase what they can do. And then we start to bring our high school kids back, you know, around February, March, to try to gear up for a travel season. I think everybody's aware that, you know, the NCAA just released, you know, they're giving everybody an extra year of eligibility. So those are things that we're going to try to navigate as we go through the recruitment process with our kids and get them ready and geared up for the spring season, with the hopes that there is going to be a spring and summer traditional travel season. And if there's not, we're going to improvise and we're going to find the best ways to get our kids the exposure that they need in a safe environment, like we did last summer.
Right. Well, it looks like you're doing a great job, both on and off the court. I mean, I haven't seen you guys on the court, but off the court, you guys are very impressive. So I just want to say, you know, thank you for joining us, Coach Dominique Nute, New Heights Co-Girls Program Director. You know, keep doing what you're doing. Good luck to the girls, Mary, Ashley, Groot. Good luck to you. Aalyah, what's your last name?
Del Rosario.
Del Rosario?
Mm-hmm.
Aalyah Del Rosario. Look out for her. 6'6" and still growing. So look out for that. And then Angelica, what's your last name?
Velez.
Velez. Angelica Velez, taking ankles. So we'll definitely keep an eye on all three of you, and New Heights in general, and Coach Dominique Nute. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes,
We appreciate you having us for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us tonight.
We will, Coach Dom, send us the schedule. We will be at some games.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna check it out because now
Yeah.
I'm super interested right now. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta see this.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you,
Yeah.
lady.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank
right.
you.
Well, that was great, man.
That was great, man.
Check on the girls scene, which looks very strong.
Yeah, that was great because it was that's going to bring, now that we have put girls on the podcast, actual high school girls,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to bring other girls like, yo, I want to be in there.
No, you're right. And
those are some of the top ones. So
yes, you said they were the top 3 girls or something like that.
They're all top 25 in the country.
Wow.
And on the same, and 2 of them are on the same high school team.
Yeah, it's
6'6"
sophomore.
Oh my God!
And 6'2" and 6'2"
boys program
versatile.
with a 6'6" sophomore boy, but a girl.
Wow.
That's like 6'9" boy.
Yeah, easy. Maybe like 7.
They recruiting them. I'm about to say, you getting them from the DR? You sent them back?
Yeah, that's real right there. Oh, that's like baseball type shit right there.
Yeah. Yeah, New Heights got a lot of bread, huh?
Wow. And you said you're taking over.
So he pretty much made me an offer. Now we just got to work out the numbers, but the job description would be, what they say, community basketball director.
Okay.
So basically, I'm all things basketball, but I'm gonna help them out politically, community-wise, things of that nature, and I will be helping the boys and the girls side.
Nah, good stuff. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
they have a very nice board. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I see.
Those girls are very mature, man.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Off the court, like they weren't playing around.
They were sharp, man.
Yeah, they look like they're ready for prime time already. You know what I'm saying? They're ready to be on ESPN right now.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. That's what And I'm, they all look like they could ball. Like, just like they knew exactly. I gotta check this out.
Yeah, they had their presence, man.
Yeah, no question.
And Dom was pretty good too.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm just saying how she answered the question.
Oh yeah. I thought you meant playing.
Yeah.
No, yeah. She was great. She was great.
Yeah.
She was real impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah.
So let's do like a quick 5-minute end to
okay.
it.
And so what do I do? I'm gonna shout out our Instagram page.
Yeah, Instagram page is just up next pod. Yeah, up next pod. And the Twitter is up next _pod.
Okay.
All right, man. That was a great interview, man. I'm glad we brought them on.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I was excited to bring them on, and I'm more excited that I heard them speak. Those girls they seem like they're on their way.
Right, like you said, they're all 3 of them were top 25.
Yes.
For their grade.
Right, sophomores in the country.
Right.
So
look out.
Water at New Heights because they're doing their job.
Yeah, I'm definitely checking out some New Heights games ASAP.
Yes.
As soon as they get back on the court, I might go try to sneak in one of their open runs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
to see what's going on.
Man, I got the inside scoop.
All right. Good stuff, man. So yeah, everybody, thanks for joining us. Khalid, hit them up with the social media that they should be following us on.
Yes, follow our page, flood our page, Up Next Pod, at Up Next Pod. And our Twitter page is Up Next _pod. So please follow that page. For the people that already have, we appreciate your support. And we're going to keep blowing this thing up for our youth.
No question. Yeah, the Instagram page is popping. Like you said, Up Next Pod, at Up Next Pod. as far as the podcast, thank you for listening. But also, you take some time out to rate the show, review the show. The more ratings and reviews we get, the more traffic we get, the more Apple Podcasts will promote the show on their end. So definitely, if you like what you hear from us, leave a review and rate the show and subscribe to the show. So, you don't have to look out for any notices of when it's up. It'll automatically come to your phone if you subscribe. And we're up everywhere. Listen to us at, like I said, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart Radio, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts. Check us out and tell a friend also to do all that, to do the same.
Tell a friend to tell a friend, and on Instagram, tag a friend to tag a friend.
Exactly. So Khalid, man, we'll be up at it again next week.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna keep dropping the heat.
Yep.
And we'll be back with you soon.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.